Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
So, how are you today? Don't say fine if you're not really fine. Let's have that discussion on how life can get better. Welcome to New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez, excited to be in the presence of Dr. Jim Burns, the founder of Homeward, and clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard. Ms. Jill, how are you? What's on your mind to start us off?
Well, I am good today. However, I would like to talk about grief and types of grief. And we talk a lot about grief on this show and grieving. So I wanted to just kind of maybe define some things a bit today. So there are different types of grief and different ways that that grief is categorized. And I hold these things loosely, even though for our diagnostic purposes we need to do this because everybody grieves differently, as we have often said. So first of all, there's acute grief, and that's in the initial, first month. You lost a loved one, and you're in shock, and you're sad, and you feel hopeless, and it's devastating. You think about it 24/7. And also, this also depends on the type of relationship, too. The closer you are to a person, the more significant they are to your day-to-day life, the greater maybe the shock will be and the impact. Okay, and then we move into what's normal grief. And this is, you're sad, you maybe take some time off work, and then slowly you go back to work, you're still sad, you're grieving, you're preparing for the service. And normal grief is, over time you regain regular functioning, even though there's no limits to us missing a person. That can go on indefinitely. But we tend to get back to normal life. Okay, so then there's complicated, or what is now called prolonged grief disorder. And this is where after 12 months, so a lot of times people think, okay, you should be done grieving in a year. A lot of times people are not. So again, hold the time frames loosely. But beyond a year, it starts moving into what could be a complicated grief or a prolonged grief. Interesting, though, in kids, Jim, it's only 6 months. So I guess they don't grieve as long. I don't know. But prolonged grief, what happens is that a lot of times the intensity is greater. It's harder to accept the loss. So there's denial that can happen. There's an impact on functioning. Maybe the person doesn't return to work, or they're not functioning well at work, or they've started to isolate, right? And then it can move into mental health problems, depression, anxiety, maybe longing to be with the person, but just the lack of acceptance. I've known people who, 20 years later haven't moved one item of the person, right? And living as if almost the person is still there. So it can become very complicated, or depending too on what type of loss was it. Was it a sudden accident? Was it a suicide? Right? Those kinds of things complicate it. And then there's also betrayal trauma grief. And this also creates a complication, because this is not a person who has died. This is a person who has betrayed you, and they're still around. And that creates all kinds of complications for a person that they have to deal with. So I'm hearing the music. So
Yes.
all these things we can deal with here. And we talk a lot about.
We do. Grief is something that people call with all the time, and sometimes people call in, they don't even know that they're going through grief. They just think it happened so long ago or whatever that how can I still be grieving?
It's not just with death, like I said. There can be betrayal, but there's also different types of losses and things that we need to grieve all the time. The childhood we didn't have.
We're going to be doing a webinar on grief in the next few months. We'll give you more details about that as we get closer to the date on New Life Live.
The Life Recovery Conference is online Saturday, October 4th. It isn't just for those struggling with addiction. It's for anyone ready to break free from destructive patterns and build a foundation for lasting change. Our expert speakers will equip you with biblical tools to face life's toughest challenges and find real transformation. You'll walk away with practical strategies to overcome anxiety, shame, and relational struggles, plus biblical wisdom for grief, finances, and identity. You'll also gain tools to recognize unhealthy patterns and clear action steps to choose wisdom every day. The Life Recovery Conference is for everyone. Whether you're just beginning your journey, looking for fresh tools, supporting a loved one, or leading others, you'll find hope, direction, and encouragement. Change starts with one step. Register today for the Choosing Wisdom New Life Recovery Conference at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
I want to talk to the guys who are struggling with sexual integrity. Now, it takes on many different forms. Some are obvious, like porn addiction, visiting strip clubs, having a full-on affair. But what about those subtle ways that might catch you off guard? Flirting with coworkers, staring a little too long at the girl walking down the street, hiding text messages from your wife. New Life Ministries offers many ways for men to break free from sexual addiction. We've got podcasts and videos at newlife.com. We can connect you to a counselor or a life recovery group, but the best help for men struggling with this is our Every Man's Battle Weekend Intensive. If you're not sure where to start, call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and we'll guide you to the help that's right for you. Bottom line, freedom is possible. Our next Every Man's Battle workshop is next weekend in Orange County, California. It is not too late for you to sign up. You can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or visit newlife.com. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Mark, Pastor Mark, in Atlanta, Georgia, watching us on YouTube. Hey there, Mark. What's your question for us today?
I am well, sir. How are you? Thank you so much for taking my call.
Yeah. What's going on there in Georgia?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. So I was introduced to porn by my father at 5 years old. And obviously that had an impact on my life. And ultimately I became addicted to sex. But I was delivered. God delivered me from that. He rescued me from that. So we thank God for that. And I spend my time now in our ministry. And we're booked out until next year for by people all over the world seeking deliverance from addiction, strongholds, pornography, illnesses, poverty, things of that nature. The Bible tells us that our enemies, not people, is what's operating in people. And I just want to get your opinion, your thoughts on why it appears that the church has ignored this aspect of Jesus' ministry. People are looking for breakthrough and freedom from these strongholds. And I just want to get some professionals' opinion as to why this appears to be such an ignored part of Jesus' ministry in the church today.
All right. Dr. Jim, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for what you do. Mm-hmm. Thank you for your testimony. Thank you that you were going in one direction and you were delivered from your addiction, and now you're going in a different place and you're using what has happened in your life to help others. So thank you so very much. And so your question is about the church. My background is also as a pastor. I was a pastor in the church. Now I'm not. I'm the founder of a family ministry, but I still am in the church big time. And, I think what we see, just like your experience is there are different churches that obviously you're booked for a long time. So there are churches that do use the power of deliverance, and you know it to be real, and you see healing. And at New Life, we're about healing. And we think that healing, as you see within the Scripture, comes in different ways. Sometimes it was a miraculous healing. Other times it was a second touch, if you remember what Jesus did. Other times it's a process. The miracle somebody once said, "Good thing Easter is a season and not just a day, because some miracles take time." And so, we believe in all of that. So the point being, and I think as a professional who happens to be Christian, we believe that, we want to never underestimate what God can do. At the same time, there are people, like I have a couple who they're actually pretty well-known Christians, and her testimony was when she was young, she was an alcoholic, and she was delivered from her alcoholism and never had to even thought about drinking again because she was delivered. It was a powerful testimony. And her testimony today is still powerful. Her husband, on the other hand, was an alcoholic, and he went to the same deliverance day that she was healed, and it didn't happen. He continued to do that, and he ended up going through 12 steps. And so it's like the perfect couple. God used, and they're both doing great stuff within ministry, but God used one, which was a process of healing, and God used another where it was instantaneous. And what's neat about it is they both can identify. So like when she gives her testimony, there's times, I'll just be honest with you, where I go, I want somebody to come and try to be delivered, and every alcoholic or any addict has prayed for deliverance, and sometimes that happens, and sometimes God takes them through a different direction. So when she says that, I love that her husband comes up next and says, "Didn't work for me. For me, it was giving my life to the Lord again, and then going through the process of working the 12 steps." And I go, how good is God? He's so big that he just doesn't use one form. So that's kind of what my thought is on it, Mark. And I love what you do, and I also love what others do who go through the process of healing, and I think God uses both. Jill?
And I agree wholeheartily with what you're saying, Jim. And I think with both forms of deliverance, whether it's instant or prolonged, we're in the process, right, of sanctification and growing. And so growth is lifelong, and character building is lifelong. So even if you've had an instant healing, it may not look the same as the person like going through the 12 steps, but you still have to be on a growth journey.
Sure.
Right?
Exactly.
So
that's discipleship.
Yes.
I mean, you said sanctification, which is the right theological word, but discipleship says now that he's done a work in your life, what are you going to do about that? And that's where we roll up our sleeves and literally, as the disciples in the Bible did, work through that process.
So I think there are parallels when we talk about a healing journey. We have the spiritual parallel to, if we use just non-Christian language in a sense, we're walking through a healing process.
No, you're right. There's a man named John Wimber, and John Wimber has passed away, but he was the founder of the Vineyard, and he was a close friend of mine and a special person in my life. And I remember him speaking at a big convention I was speaking at in Dallas, and he was sick. And he was a person who prayed for healing. And he said, it's actually kind of embarrassing that I'm here to talk to you about how God can heal, and I am just sick as a dog. He said, I love that he used the word sick as a dog. I don't know how dogs get sick. And then he went on and gave a very powerful presentation, and then he had a healing time. Which was amazing because he was doing it while he was coughing and sputtering and whatnot. He says, I've prayed for a couple of days that God would heal me. Well, I think that's a good attitude about it. And so my only beef with either way is that if somebody is in, for example, like Mark in the deliverance side, he has to understand that God is bigger than even that. And there are some people who really needed to go through another process. The same with the people who never bring up the issue that God can heal, because God does heal. And we see that, and there are miracles. And Mark's evident with that, with his life and what he's doing in his ministry. So I think it's important for us to work together, and that people don't see just one side of it, but they see the entire side. It's all God doing a work in their lives.
Right. And the dependence on God must continue.
Sure.
Because, there's risks to both sides, right? One, if we think it's always a process, then we are making God small.
Oh, you're exactly right.
But if we think it's only a deliverance, then we're putting the emphasis on that supernatural event instead of our daily dependence on the Lord.
You're so right. I have a friend actually who went to a deliverance meeting, prayed, was delivered, and then fell back into it. Well, he wasn't listening to God. Do I believe he was delivered? I actually believe he was delivered. But he also didn't then live his life out. Mark would see this with people as well.
Where you almost take it for granted.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think about what we're saying, Mark?
Yeah,
Here we're talking about you, and you're on the phone.
Oh, I agree with you guys 100%. And what you're speaking of is people's ability to maintain their deliverance. So mine actually wasn't all of a sudden, it was a process for me.
Yeah.
But we actually did, as far as demons manifesting. Me personally, I've never had anything speak through me, but this is something that I encounter just about daily. None of this happens without Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But as far as a void in the church, we actually have pastors preaching that a Christian can't have a demon. And that's it's not biblical. And as far as counseling and the other processes, Jesus has to be there. None of this works.
Right.
And the Bible tells us, again, that we don't wrestle with flesh and blood. The Bible tells us in Mark 16, 17, and 18 that these are the signs that follow those who believe. In my name they will cast out demons. That's there. And in Matthew 10:8, he tells us to heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. So these are commandments that, as a collective, the body of Christ doesn't appear to be adopting that leadership, those commandments from God. And I was just getting your opinion on why you think that is. I know it's uncomfortable, but unfortunately, we can look at the news daily and understand that evil is present, right? And the Bible tells us in Luke 10:19 that we have power and authority over this evil. And I was just getting your opinion as to why, just as a collective, it appears that the deliverance ministry, if you will, which again is not even a term that's biblical, a deliverance minister or deliverance ministry. It's actually, it represents a portion of Jesus's ministry. And I was just getting, pulling from you guys what your thoughts are, why the church as a whole doesn't seem to be gravitating toward walking in that authority. But I thank you very much for taking my call and even tackling this question. You'd be surprised how many people won't even talk about this, unfortunately.
Wouldn't you guys say that New Life Ministries, in a way, is like a deliverance ministry? Not maybe the way that Pastor Mark is suggesting, and but it's what we do here. We show people how to be delivered from these things that they're going through.
Exactly, and obviously there's we're not deliverance pastors. That's not our call. Mark is. God bless him. And the interesting side is, I think we're seeing more and more of this outside of the United States. We see this in Latin American countries. I'm there quite often and speaking there often, and also in Africa and different places. God is doing some great work with that. So, if there would be some people who would say, well, I didn't know the church doesn't do it because that's their experience in Africa, or that's their experience in another country. But I think when we look at it the whole, God is omnipresent. He's omnipotent, which means he's all-knowing. And I think sometimes we try to put him in our little box. And I'm not saying that Mark's doing that, but I'm saying you sounded great. But I'm saying we have to be careful not to put our God, who's so big and so great and so powerful, in our own box, even our cultural box.
Right. And I think culturally, it scares some people.
Sure it does.
Right?
Sure.
And so lots of churches who go more towards an intellectual side.
Right. Sure.
Right?
Sure. Yeah.
You brought up a really good point too, Jill. It reminded me of the story of the 10 lepers, and Jesus healed the 10 lepers, and 9 of them just kind of went away after that, and just that one who came back to Jesus and said, thank you. He worshiped him. He praised him. And yeah, sometimes, and again, not saying that Mark is doing this, but there's so much focus on the showy aspect of these things happening. Right. And people forget that this was done, that it was Jesus who did this.
Yeah, and see, what I liked about Mark's comment was that he talked about Jesus, because again, let's face it, there are people within that bought. They're part of our family, but they're kind of like Crazy Aunt Mary or Crazy John.
Right. They can be
really
very eccentric.
And they've done things wrong. They've not
They
done
can
it
be
with
outright fake.
They've not done it with integrity.
Yeah.
And that gives all of us a bad name, just like it does when a pastor, has an adulterous relationship with somebody in the congregation or something. I mean, it's a similar deal. We lose our faith in that. I have a friend who quit going to church because his pastor was really living an immoral life. Well, how sad for that. I wish he still went to church.
Why was his trust in his pastor?
Exactly. That's the question.
Not
It's the same
Jesus.
it's the same with some of these deliverance ministries too.
Yes.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for calling us there from Atlanta, Georgia. I think we'll send you a devotional. It's called the Life Recovery Devotional. It's available in the newlife.com store. Thank you so much for calling in today. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. That is just one of the ways that you can participate in New Life Live nowadays. We're on radio. We've been on radio for decades now, but we've got the podcast, we've got YouTube, we've got Facebook, we've got a website. Have you seen our website? We recently upgraded it. It is so nice. You've got to check it out. Like I said recently, you can't just go there once and you're done.
Our pictures are current now, reflecting our true age.
We'll be back on New Life Live.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Orange County, California, September 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
I'm so thankful because why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch, listening to all this great information, not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Brian Perez here along with Doctors Jill Hubbard and Jim Burns. And here's a question for you guys. Why do people need a new life? Now, I don't mean, why do people need to listen to New Life Live? That's not what I'm talking about. Why do people need to support New Life Ministries? That's not what I mean at all. Isn't reaching out to God for a fresh start just a way to avoid responsibility? I mean, a lot of the problems we find ourselves in, not all of them, of course, aren't they the products of our own doing? Shouldn't we try to figure it out on our own rather than seeking help through therapy or counseling or God himself? What would you guys say?
I'd say, how's it working for you?
Yeah.
When I try to do it on my own, I mean, there's times when I get a victory. I kind of figure it out. But most of the time, I think, wouldn't it be better to get the wise advice of a counselor to put my trust in God? After all, he's the creator. So I think the reason we do this is because it didn't work for us. It wasn't meant to work for us. God created us to have community. God created us to have counsel. I mean, the Bible always says, and you hear me say this all the time, where there's no counsel, the people fall. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So we need to bring a circle of support around us for support. But part of support is getting the right counsel. So if I'm going to go to get my car fixed, I don't want somebody who's going to not know about cars. I want to go to somebody who knows about cars. They know the patterns well, because I have no idea. He says, well, your carburetor's not working. I don't even know how to spell carburetor. I don't even know what it does, hardly. I know we're going to get some calls now, people telling me how I can fix my carburetor. But the point I'm trying to say is, no, we want to get wisdom. We want to get counsel. That's how we develop new life. Now, the new life that comes from Christ because we're Christian, that comes from him. But because of that, now we want to live our lives in a way that we can...
That's honoring to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way to do that is to bring a circle of support around us. And that's also counsel and wisdom and, doctors and medicine and all the other ways we do it.
Yeah. Jill?
Okay, well, have you read the Bible and, remember the flood? And God wiped out the people, or Sodom and Gomorrah, because left to our own devices, we choose evil over good, even though there's some good in us, but we will choose evil. Yeah. So there, by the grace of God, go I, when we see others, walking down a path. And so we need a new life, because we need a course correction constantly. So we're constantly needing to be in sync with others who are ahead of us, so that we can stay on the righteous path. And not go meandering into the wilderness.
I love that you said that, a course correction. We drift, and we need to make a course correction.
Oh my gosh, we drift all the time.
Yeah,
and then you throw in a little ADHD, and we're drifting all over the place. Right?
Yeah. No, I just wanted to bring that up because I think there's a lot of people who maybe don't want to reach out to New Life Live and don't want to call in or get the help
Change
they
is
need.
Scary.
Yes,
we cling to the familiar, even if it's not good. Even if we know it would be better, the unknown feels scarier than the known. Mediocrity. And so we cling to that, unfortunately.
I also think there's that stubborn pride from people who, like in my example, they're just, I got myself into this mess. I'll figure out how to get
That's really shame. Right? Pride, because pride is the opposite side of the coin of shame. So when we're feeling shame and it feels so horrible, we flip into pride, puff ourselves up. I'm not as bad as that guy, right? So that we can handle it.
Right. It's good. Great input. And frankly, what we want to learn is to do what you said. The Bible's clear. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and don't lean on your own understanding. In all of his ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. He'll help with that course correction.
So now that we've had this little discussion, there is no reason for you not to get in touch with us here at New Life Live. Either call us when we're here in the studio. You can also send us an email or leave us a voicemail, and we'll get to your questions. And you can find out how to do that on our website, newlife.com/radio. Let's go to the phones right now. Here is Judy in San Francisco, who listens to us on the New Life app. Hey there, Judy. Thank you for downloading the app, and thank you for calling in today.
Hi, thanks so much for taking my call. You've helped me so much over the years that I just knew exactly who I could call in to with my question. So I have a sister who's 21 and in college, and really thinks that she should be getting a prescription for beta blockers to help with anxiety. It seems to be really trendy right now within her circle of friends. They can get it very easy at a campus facility, and it's all over TikTok, and she's seen the Kardashians saying, oh no, it helps calm you down and it's no big deal. And I just wanted your opinion, because I don't think that is a great thing for her to do, or maybe it is, maybe it's okay.
Well, if the Kardashians recommend it, I mean...
So right? it must be re-trending, because it's been around for a long time, Judy. And it actually started with violinists who were having performance anxiety. And it was a drug that you could take in small doses, and it's fast acting. So within 30 minutes, you can feel calmer. And what it does is it blocks those autonomic nervous system responses that, when you feel them, cause you to feel more anxious and get panicky. So for short-term use and I hear the music, for performance anxiety, it can work really well for people. With, there are side effects, as there is with everything, but not tons of side effects. However, anything that you're using chronically or daily is going to not be as good for you as something that you use just periodically.
Okay. Judy, stay on the phone. We've got to take a break here on New Life Live. We'll continue this conversation. Thanks for calling in today.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found life recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to Judy in San Francisco, who called in with a question about, how do you even say this word?
Propranolol.
Propranolol. Okay.
Yeah, that's the generic form, and I forget the non-generic.
Got it.
right
well,
at this moment. But
yeah, just a new word to me, so I wasn't sure how to pronounce it. All those medical terms.
Well, and I should also preface, it originally was for like heart murmurs.
Sure.
And so
high
people,
blood pressure.
Yeah, people with, because it lowers
your blood pressure.
Blood pressure, yeah.
Can people become addicted to it? Is it?
I don't believe it's an addictive substance.
Okay.
It's not in that category, but you become dependent psychologically on it if you're using it for anxiety.
Got it.
So, but people who use it for their heart have to be monitored that their blood pressure doesn't go too low. And I've seen that happen in people. And that's not a good situation. It also can make you tired. It can make you dizzy. It slows you down. And so, let's say you've got a test coming up in school and you take it, or you're giving a speech, right? And you take it. Well, later in the day, you're probably going to be a little more tired. And so really, it should be used in very low doses, and I wouldn't be mixing alcohol or other drugs with it at all.
So do people take this because they want that? I mean, it's like I said, it's fast acting.
It's calming for performance anxiety.
Okay, but are there other methods? Are there other things people can do so that they don't have to take something like this? I mean, what are we talk about it here on the program all the time? I mean, there's like deep breathing and things like that. Yeah, sure.
Yes, being prepared.
No, exactly, and there may even be better drugs. But the thing I would say, Judy, thinking about your sister, is, don't get those from just somebody passing it out at school.
No, it would have to be the health center.
It would have to be the health center, but sometimes that's even not the best. I would go to somebody who knows beta blockers, knows the side effects, knows the negative issues. You talked about a couple of them: fatigue,
dizziness,
chest pain. But if it goes really deep, then it's chest pain. It's a lot of really tough stuff.
Well, right.
So a beta blocker. Here I am.
You
know what? I was trying to say beta breakers. You know, she's in San Francisco, so there you go.
Yeah.
But you know, that is not something to mess around with. So again, do it under the care of a
no medication.
Exactly.
Really is,
so I want
right?
to say it so loud. The other thing that happens in colleges is what we call farming, PHARMING, which means their buddy has one and said, "Hey, this really worked for my test," and sometimes drugs do work. And so, or even you mentioned earlier in the broadcast about ADHD, so they go, "You know what? I've got some Adderall here. It's going to help you with your test."
Right.
So farming is when you go to a party and you take something that somebody else gave you, or you get it from a friend.
You don't want
to do that.
No.
So if this is the latest, greatest thing I know of it more with lowering blood pressure. Certain blood pressure medicines have a beta blocker. I can't even say it now. A beta blocker in it.
Go ahead.
No, but I think we have to be very careful when that's happening. That we're doing it, like you say, that people were using it for performances. I get that, but I think there's a better way to handle that most of the time, to be honest.
What should I tell my sister? I'll have her listen to this conversation, but overall, like, how do I defeat that? Like when she's, it's no big deal, the health center will give it to me, my friends have used it. Like,
well, I think to talk to her about why she feels the need for it. What's going on? What's her level of anxiety that she experienced? Is this just because it's trending and all her friends are doing it? So, okay. But how anxious is she? And getting some help for her anxiety if it feels like it's debilitating.
Has she always been anxious?
Mildly. It's definitely not debilitating, but she would say, if I go into a social situation, deep breathing isn't going to help me, or something like that. And I think the kids think it's better than like smoking weed or taking drinks to calm themselves.
I would.
The interesting thing I was going to say, Judy, is that in today's world, if there are, because of in many states, you can go into a health center at a university and you can actually get a prescription for pot, for weed, for marijuana. So again, I'm not suggesting that, I'm not saying it's all bad. Please don't hear that. But I am saying that it's very important to get the wisdom and advice of somebody who absolutely knows what they're doing. They go through the side effects. And I don't think it's going to come from another student. And sometimes it doesn't come, frankly, from the health center. Other times it does. I mean, I was at a university where the health center wasn't very good, to be honest. And they had a liberal
you seem
bent
to be
on
really
certain
negative.
things. No, I know. I'm jumping on this. All right. But that was...
Because I think some have improved and they have counseling centers.
I worked in the counseling center at Princeton during the time I was going there. So I saw a real liberal bent with some of the medical stuff or some of the things they were saying. And even, frankly, in some of the education, in some of the counseling that they were doing. But so my concern is make sure it's done properly. And I don't mean to jump on it. I don't mean to jump on health centers.
Well, and here's the thing. We live in a society where we're all highly anxious, and yet we think we should never be anxious. Right? And so learning how to handle normal human emotions. And with social anxiety, I mean, kids in this age group, they don't want to look odd or weird. They want to fit in. But part of dealing with social anxiety is the facing your fear thing.
Exactly.
Where you just have to show up and act as if you are cool and fine. And then you have an experience where it went okay, and you can look back and go, I was okay, and people accepted me. And so again, it's that desensitization, it's that exposure without relying on a drug, because here you're using it for social anxiety, and it's like every time you go out, I need this, right?
Well, and there's a clinical addiction, and like we talked about this, but there's also psychological addiction. So how do you medicate pain? Some people medicate pain by drinking, and maybe even not to an extent, but they go, oh, wow, I've got a big event coming up. I need to, some tequila or whatever it might be, whatever their choice. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. But you see what I'm saying? So they smoke a cigarette.
Parties revolve around drinking, right? Everybody's more relaxed.
No, exactly. So I think we have to be careful with why she wants it. I'm going a little deeper on this. Why does she want to medicate whatever her stress level is, because I mean it is a stress. It medicates,
and so she needs to be talking it out with someone. Her stress, even if it's mild. Great that it's mild. We don't want it to get severe.
Exactly, but there may be healthier ways. So again, you heard me. I'm kind of coming on it from more negative.
But here's the problem too for young people. Nothing is as quick as a drink, a hit, right? Or
and
a pill.
It works. This is the problem.
That is the problem.
If you look at, like, say, marijuana, I mean, marijuana actually works.
Yeah.
So, somebody smokes pot and they go, wow, it did help me focus on my
But people think
test or
they
whatever.
perform better than they actually do.
Totally.
They think they're
Totally.
creating masterpieces when really it's just noise.
Exactly. No, exactly. So I think we do have to be careful. And Judy, I appreciate your call, because I appreciate that you're concerned. What you're doing a number of things. You're trying to help your sister think through things. You're trying to figure this whole process out. And the interesting thing about even legal drugs is that are prescribed by the right way, that every person takes that drug differently. There are people, like I know in the world, because of their heart, they can't take beta blockers, and there are others who go, that particular drug with a beta blocker changed my blood pressure, and I'm doing better now.
Right,
So
right.
we have to be really careful.
I liked your idea of maybe going outside of the college, meet with the family doctor, and talk it through.
Yeah, right.
But you brought up a good point too, Jill, that nobody likes pain anymore. Whether it's I shouldn't say pain, but just that feeling of
unease,
uncomfort.
dis-ease.
Yes, that's it. Dis-ease. Yes.
Yes.
But nobody likes that. We just want that quick fix of how are we going to not feel weird.
We think we're supposed to function at a higher level, and I think it's just going to get worse with AI, right? In terms of the level of functioning and what we produce is at such a higher level that there isn't room for the imperfection. And we're all very imperfect people.
Yep. Judy, what do you think?
I think this is all very helpful, and I think I'm going to have her listen to this call.
Great.
Yeah, great.
So thank you.
We archive all of our episodes on the New Life app and on Facebook, YouTube, so you can just direct her there and maybe have her call in. We would just love to have this discussion with her, because, just to get to the bottom of what's going on. Judy, thank you for listening to us there in San Francisco on the New Life app. Thank you for downloading. Oh, stay on the phone. We'll send you a copy of 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety.
Oh,
I think
good
that'd be a great book to pass on to your sister. God bless you, Judy. Stay on the phone. All right, this is New Life Live. I'm Brian Perez here with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Jim Burns. Jill is a clinical psychologist. Jim is the founder of Homeward. And we are here on New Life Live Monday through Friday. We love talking to you about whatever it is that you're going through. We don't love what you're going through, but we want to help you get through to the other side, because there is hope. There is help. And you can find a lot of help, a lot of resources on our website. There's a lot of free articles and videos there that you can check out. You can also submit your questions to us there. You can purchase books from the newlife.com store. There is so much going on there at New Life Live and newlife.com. We'll be back here on New Life Live.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
When you give to New Life, you help bring healing to the broken, hope to the hopeless, and a new beginning to someone who thought it was too late. You're helping to change stories of pain into testimonies of hope, and we are so thankful for you. And even more thankful than us are the people whose lives you helped changed, and their families. You are part of every changed life when you give to New Life at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You can even text NLM to 28950. God bless you for whatever you can do. And how about a shout out to all the general managers and program directors who carry New Life Live on their radio stations, whether you've been with us from the beginning or for a long time, or you're one of our newer affiliates like KSPD in Boise, Idaho, now carrying us 5 days a week, or Cayman Public Radio in, well, the Cayman Islands. Thank you. And you listening on Sirius XM or podcast or watching on Facebook, YouTube, NRB TV, channel 378 on DirecTV. Tell your friends where they can find us. And of course, we're always at newlife.com. Here's a question that was submitted online. I think I mentioned this earlier. You can send us an email or a voicemail if you can't call in when we're in the studio. Here is one of those emails. It is from Danielle, who writes, "How do I stop feeling like I failed after my husband walked out again? I'm reaching out because I feel completely overwhelmed. My husband and I have been together for 7 years. We've had 2 miscarriages. He's struggled with addiction, anger, and pride. We tried marriage counseling, but he didn't like it and would walk out of every session. The counselor eventually said she couldn't help us and recommended I seek individual therapy. I've worked hard on myself through counseling, anxiety, depression medication, and prayer. After he left in 2022 saying he wanted a divorce, he came back this past February, and I believed we were finally rebuilding. But in June, he confessed to cheating with 2 women and has since changed his mind again. Now he says he might come back one day, quote unquote, but for now he wants a divorce. I've begged, prayed, and tried to stay faithful to what God says, but now I'm alone again. To make matters worse, my job just shut down too. Everyone tells me I've done enough, but I still feel like I failed. How do I know what God wants from me now?" What would you guys say to Danielle?
Oh, my heart goes out to her.
Yeah.
What a roller coaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
And emotionally, and having 2 miscarriages, while her husband obviously isn't someone, unfortunately, of mature character that knows how to regulate his emotions, right? So did you say he's using substances as well?
And he has struggled with.
Yeah, but the anger, the pride, this,
addiction.
So
cheating.
All the addiction and the cheating, right? So he just cuts and runs, avoids, and medicates his pain. And I'm guessing has no idea how to be truly intimate with another person. And it sounds like Danielle's been hanging in there trying. And here's the thing, the person who is the one that's kind of hanging in and wants to make it work, right? It's almost like the person who tries the least wins in some cases, and the person who really wants to make it work feels the weight of the responsibility. She's over-functioning in a sense and taking on the responsibility of this marriage and the marriage vows. And interesting that she feels like a failure when all of these things that he chose to do, even if she was the worst wife ever, right, he's responsible for how he reacts to things. And she's not responsible for his addiction or his cheating. And so while it feels like a failure, that's really kind of putting it in the performance-driven.
Really
it's
is.
really a sad situation that requires a lot of grieving, and a person who didn't have the ability to hang in there for better or worse and work on themselves. And unfortunately, that's the person that she married. And maybe he was attracted in her that she had the capability, right, of being more mature or being willing to hang in there.
Right.
And he may have wanted that, but obviously isn't capable of living that out at this time.
Right.
But I would also caution when someone says, oh, maybe I'll come back again.
Yeah.
You know what? They're just softening the blow of, but I'm leaving now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you were going to come back again, then why are you leaving?
If things don't work out with the other girl, I'll
Right.
come back.
That's such a
basically
low
what it is.
blow. Like,
Yeah.
I want to keep you in the wings, so I'm going to give you this little carrot.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to make you not resist me in giving a divorce.
Yeah.
So that's really low and kind of a gaslighting technique.
That's the word that came to my mind, gaslighting.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he's gaslighting you. And my problem with this is that you feel like a failure, but it's been his decision.
It's been his failure.
And you know what? The way God looks at us, God loves us not for what we do, but for who we are. You're his child. He doesn't look at you as a failure, for one thing. And also, I think you're doing all the right stuff. You know, you tried to get marriage counseling. He wouldn't do it. He walked out. And then when the marriage counselor said, I can't help you, but, you know, get some individual, you started doing that. So you're working on your own life.
Yeah.
Part of this is the process of you working on your own life. You're going to have to decide, you know, if he wants the divorce, you actually have biblical grounds for that, then you're going to have to decide what you're going to do with that. Now, again, I may be harsher and Jill's much nicer than me, but I would give him the divorce. If you were ever going to marry this person, it would have to be, it would be totally on different grounds. There would have to be deep changes on his part. You don't want to marry somebody who is, you know, having kind of what I look at as almost a serial adulterer. He's broken your marriage vows. He has these other issues. He's messing with you. He's toying with you.
Once one person breaks the vows are broken.
Right.
You can stand there holding up your half of the wishbone, but it is broken.
No, it is.
It's not whole
and
anymore.
I mean, periodically, I have a miracle conversation with a couple not too long ago where literally they got remarried.
Sure, those are the rare exceptions.
But that's not the norm.
Right.
And so again, I think you work on yourself, you become the best you, but don't look at yourself as a failure. Look at yourself as a child of God who, you know. And
sometimes I think God removes us from situations when they are not going to change. And I'm sorry about your 2 miscarriages. That is really hurtful. But in one sense, the fact that you have no children with this man, it is easier to make a cleaner break. And you may not want to hear that because all you want is for him to come back. Yeah. But believe me, moving forward, it is easier to then start again. Because once you have children with someone, they're in your life forever.
Much more complicated. And you don't want the him of today to come back. You don't want that. Right. So there would have to be strong changes on his part for that to ever happen, in my opinion.
Jill, you mentioned something, we're running out of time here, but the person who loves the least, what did you say in your...
the person who wants the least wins. The person who wants the most often loses, right? Because you can't make someone want something that they don't want. And that's really the unfair, because it's the other person that suffers so much when you're investing and hoping and doing all of the work, and the other person is just like, more cavalier.
So it's like that person controls everything.
Oh, yeah.
because-
Right. There's a phrase in recovery that says you can't want it more than they want it.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll see a wife want it so badly, and they
Like, I'm going to love for both of us.
and
no,
they,
you can't
and
do that.
You can't do that. So you can't want it more than they want it.
Yeah. And there's nothing more we would want than to keep doing the program, but we've run out of time. Thankfully, we will be back tomorrow, and we want to help you. So write down our phone number, 1-800-229-3000, and then call us next time we're here in the studio. For Dr. Jim Burns and Dr. Jill Hubbard, I'm Brian Perez. Thanks for listening to New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you. But you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.